ਵੈਲਕਮ ਬੈਕ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਬਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਸ਼ੋ ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਮੇਰਾ ਗੈਸਟ ਹੈਗਾ ਐਲਕ ਕਲਾਰਕ। ਐਲਕ ਕਲਾਰਕ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੁਣੇ ਟੂਨ ਇਨ ਕੀਤੇ ਆ, ਉਹ ਯੂਨਾਈਟਿਡ ਸੋਇਲਸ ਦੇ ਮਾਲਕ ਆ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅੰਟੇਰੀਓ ਦਾ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਪਿਟ ਆ। ਤੇ ਸਟੋਵਿਲ ਵਾਲੇ ਜਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਟਰੱਕਿੰਗ ਭਰਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਆ। ਇਹ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਮੈਂ ਬੰਦੇ ਲੱਭ ਕੇ ਲਿਆ ਰਿਹਾ, ਕਿਉਂ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੁੱਦੇ ਆ ਇਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਡੇਲੀ ਮੁੱਦੇ ਆ। ਅਸੀਂ ਬਾਦਲ ਤੋਂ ਟੌੜਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਸ਼ੰਕਾਟਾ ਕਰੀਏ ਤੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ, ਕਿਉਂ ਰੋਜੀ ਰੋਟੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ, ਬੱਚੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਪਾਲਣੇ ਆ। ਸੋ ਗੈਟਿੰਗ ਬੈਕ ਟੂ ਮਾਈ ਗੁੱਡ buddy Alec, the spiff issue. Let's get now we can get a little feisty.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
The spiff issue has morphed into about 4 topics.
Okay.
The original ask from myself, the industry, and our friends, all the truckers.
Okay, so the original ask is by everybody.
By everybody.
United Front.
Yes, right.
Okay.
Please grandfather the last group of people that have not done anything, can't afford to do anything, tried to do something, maybe they saved up to do something and then COVID came along. Whatever that number of people is, for the sake of everybody here, can you please show some respect to the industry and grandfather the trucks to their natural life end? Okay? I won't listen to they had 10 years. If we had 10 years, show me. MTO right now, I'm asking the MTO right now, show me a piece of paper that's current that said that we had 10 years and it was happening on January the 1st. Fact. 2009, they said January the 1st, 2021. Since that, in writing, show me.
So you're saying...
I'm saying...
See, this is where we have to get technical.
That's right.
You're saying that there's no writing.
Everybody was heading to a certain direction.
Okay.
And we all agreed to do it.
Right.
But there's a case about changing the law and there's a case about enacting the law.
Okay.
OSGA, Ontario Sand and Stone Gravel Association, asked them today when they found out that this was happening on January the 1st. And they're going to tell you, well, we heard rumors that this was happening, so we wrote to the MTO, and the MTO clarified it to us in November of 2020. That's a fact, okay? Ask the MTO, you got to understand something. These truckers are owner-operators. There isn't big, huge fleets.
No.
How does the MTO talk to 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 owner-operators? Show me where they mailed them something that said this is exactly what's going to happen, and they're going to tell you they can't, they didn't, they don't know how.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you how they do. Simple. Everybody that's operating these trucks has a DZ license or an AZ license. Go to your bank. You can send everybody a CVR ticket. You can send everybody a ticket for your safety. Your license plates. You got all that. Push the button and send them a notice about this. But they didn't. The rollout here by the government is non-existent. Okay. So, I say this topic has moved into 4. There's the original grandfathering. There is the spiff that exists that doesn't really work. Can work, but it doesn't yet. Then there's Carolyn Mulrooney's treatment of the trucker. And then there's the overall umbrella that should be the save-all for everybody to make this work, called COVID.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay, let's go back to spiff now.
Okay.
That's number 2.
Yeah.
So we did the grandfathering, let's go spiff.
Yeah. Spiff, the axle that's out now, has some failures in it, has some faults in it. And I'll go back to my story about my refrigerator. If I've had 10 years to get my act together,
right.
You know who else has had 10 years to get their act together?
Yeah.
The MTO. So if you haven't given me a good alternative to what you're asking me to park, why are we listening?
Okay.
Right? Common sense. And you know, no one seems to know how many people we're talking about here.
Well, okay.
Nobody
I don't want to
knows.
put you on the spot, but why is that? We have a government that's in place, okay?
Exactly.
It's a structure. They know every time we sneeze and burp, but they don't know how many truckers that are on the
That's
road
right.
and how many are working and how many are not working. Like those licenses are being issued, there's permits being issued. Like it's how hard is it?
I'll give you two choices. Either it's a tiny group of people, tiny, or it's significant, 1,200, 1,500 people. If it's 1,200 or 1,500 people, that's a shame. Look at the houses. This isn't just a truck that's parked. This is a kid that isn't eating right, okay? This is a kid trying to go to university, the family has no income now to continue.
Right.
Okay, there's way more than just looking at the grill of a truck. Let's say it's a small group. If it's a small group, just let it go.
Okay.
If you've got a problem and you've cured 90% of it, then let it go.
Okay, so why is it not being let go? What is the fear? What is the
I have no idea.
misconceptions and the hype
I
that's
think
being
they're
created?
trying to make the point that they've made their decision. Okay, and there's another very important part here. In 2016, we met with the MTO.
Okay.
We signed an agreement. I was right in the middle of it. That they would do nothing about any of this stuff that's got to do with axle weights, weight restrictions, spiff, everything, all under one umbrella, without our approval. And they've broken that. I've had the transportation minister that signed that with us. He has come to ours to support us, and he's gone to the legislature, and the legislature knows that. How do you get away with that? We have an agreement. So let's talk about the guy. Oh, he got 10 years. He got 10 years. The man is up and down the street who can't afford to buy the truck,
Right.
who might want to wait till the last minute. We're going to get into COVID in a second. He might want to wait till the last minute to do it. Well, if I do have 2021, I'm going to do it in 2020. Okay?
Right.
If he has that, he's relying on the fact that our industry was supposed to have some input
Right.
since 2016, and we haven't. And that's not straight.
Okay, so now when we talk about input, the government can turn around and say, listen, who do we talk to? There's no structure. Like, where's the organization?
Okay, I'm going to tell you where
Like,
the organization...
I'm being both
you're
sides.
right.
I'm being good cop, bad cop.
You're right.
Right? So if they say, who do we talk to?
As far as the argument go...
Do the pit guys say something separate?
No.
Which trucking association do we talk to? Do the gravel guys, the dump guys?
Well, I'm going to tell you, they signed it with the ODTA and the OATA, okay?
Okay.
So let's be respectful here. Everybody understands everybody's doing this as a volunteer, but there's a transportation committee that is controlled by, is part of OSGA. And they worked, there's a bunch of guys there, my friends, Mr. Micholo, Quinn Moyer, a bunch of people, Joe Petrella. They've been doing this for years. Joe Petrella and Angelo Micholo and we've solved a few of these strikes that have happened in the last year, about 5 of them.
Yes.
But the fact is, these people are doing a bunch of volunteer work, and they're working with the MTO. They're meeting with the MTO, okay? That's who you can address some of this stuff to. But they were in the meeting too that said in 2016 that they were going to work together, and the finalization of all of this was going to be dealt with the trucker. Me, okay? Me. And that didn't happen. Didn't happen.
Okay.
So don't
why?
say to me,
Why?
you had 10 years to do it.
Okay,
we didn't have 10 years to do it.
Again, this way. Why has not the government, previous and current,
I don't get
how
it.
can they not tackle this issue that it's affecting millions of lives, and it's affecting the largest province in Canada, the lifeline?
You and I are talking about a gravel triaxle and an excavation triaxle truck.
Yes.
There's lots of other dimensions trucks. Some of them have been grandfathered to go 25 years.
Give me an
20
example.
years.
Give me an
Why can't
example.
ready mix truck.
Okay, ready mix.
Why can't we be at least
All right.
the same as them? We're on the street now saying, give us 5 more years.
Yeah, because there's
I'm
about
going to tell you
25
who's out there now that
Exactly.
hasn't done what they've done.
Exactly.
It's a guy who just bought his new truck in 2000, okay, and he's still wanting to use it. Or there's the guy that just bought a truck 5 years ago.
Yeah.
The guys are driving around in new trucks. They traded them all in. They're all good for sale. And truck dealers sold it to them. Okay? Now they're stuck with this truck. Look at the people. There's different people in every industry. And there's always the bottom group.
Right.
And we're talking about the bottom group for one reason or another. Look at the guys that deliver asphalt.
Yes.
They're older. They have a truck. They start in May. They end in November. You think that guy wants to go spend $30,000 on his truck?
No, because he barely made.
Exactly.
He
That's
barely
his
made
choice.
enough to
That's
survive.
his choice. But that guy drives a truck and pays his taxes. All right?
Yeah.
So this doesn't fit everybody.
Like, that's what I don't understand. Why are the truckers always getting abused?
I can't understand why this whole government can't see this part of it. We have given billions of dollars out there because of COVID. We've given students $2,000 a month because they couldn't get a job.
Yeah.
Now we got a guy that gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Every
he works
morning.
at 6 o'clock.
Yes.
He's working his butt off, and we won't help him.
Yeah. And he gets.
If I went to this
he gets
government-
half a day on a Sunday to be with his family.
That's right.
That's
After he
the
gets
trucker's
finished
life.
work, he gets the privilege in
So-
January and February of crawling underneath it and working on it.
That's
right. We have a group of people here that we can't figure out why they're being stubborn. We can't. I think they're trying to make the point that the government has made its point, and that's it. Final decision, nothing.
So, you were mentioning the current Minister of Transport. What have your interactions been on this issue, right? No disrespect to the minister or whatever, the government, but is there a communication issue here? Or is there that you guys understand the grassroots and the ministry, they don't understand, they only understand numbers?
I don't even think they understand numbers. Okay, I don't think they understand numbers.
All right.
Unheard of to get large corporations like Lafarge
Yes.
and Dufferin, CRH, to write a letter to the Premier of the province of Ontario. That happens very rarely, especially when they're standing up for something else. They're standing up for us.
Yes.
Okay. They're the two largest aggregate producers on the face of this planet.
Yes.
And we're asking, and they're asking, Carol Mulrooney to deal with us. If you go to our website, you're going to see who the supporters are.
Can you mention your website?
It's don'tdumponus.ca.
Okay.
Don'tdumponus.ca.
All right.
Condrain, TAC. We okay so far?
Yeah, we got the whole
Thank you.
whole industry.
We got the whole industry asking that lady to undo this mess. No reaction. No reaction. I find that completely disrespectful. I reached out to Michael Tobolo.
Yes.
Michael Tobolo represents, he's the MPP for Vaughan.
Yes.
The whole world knows that Vaughan is the epicenter for the general contracting industry. Everybody's there.
Yes.
So those constituents are going to be the ones that are affected. If there's a truck shortage here and people have bid work and they're expecting to pay a truck $1,000 a day, they're going to be paying a truck $1,300 a day because half the trucks are off the road, right? Natural progression of things. Oh, you need me to do this? Well, it's just natural. The prices are going to go up. That is going to affect everybody. You know who is going to affect the most? The MTO, because the MTO is the largest user of gravel in the province.
Wow.
So we're shooting ourselves in the foot, except the MTO is spending our money, your money and my money. Okay? There are 100 topics out there because of COVID that's going to cost millions of dollars to fix. You know how much it's going to cost to fix this? Nothing. It's a freebie. We're handing Premier Ford and Carolyn Mulrooney a massive problem that will cost nothing to fix. Nothing. Just grandfather the trucks to their natural life.
How much, when we talk about grandfathering to natural life, and you mentioned the ready mix guys, I mean, I see some trucks there that are probably 30 years old, and they're on the highway.
That's right.
So a gravel or a dump or a tri-end, whatever, what's the natural progression life do they hold?
There is no natural progression. The trucks that are in the excavation industry spend half their day in dirt.
Yes.
They're going to have a shorter, safe life than somebody that stays on asphalt.
Okay.
Just, that's normal. The same thing would happen with your car, right? Let's talk about safety. At the beginning of all this argument, the MTO was all on the fact that we're unsafe, we're unsafe. If you take a look now, they've completely backed off that. Okay, completely backed off. If everything is, we have a safety problem, why isn't there a scale open today? There hasn't been a scale open for a year. So if they're preaching safety, why are the inspection stations closed? Are you kidding me?
What? Okay, this is your personal view on. Okay, I'm asking you a personal side.
Yep.
Why are those scales closed?
Because of COVID.
So, does COVID not affect that driver? Like in one aspect, we're bailing out so many people. You know what I mean? And then on the other side, when that driver is going down a highway or even on a side street and he's loaded or he's empty, the MTA pulls him over and gives him a $1,500, $2,000 ticket. So what benefit does he get? Like what?
These guys are essential workers.
That's what I'm talking about.
They've worked through all of this COVID at risk to themselves and their families. Been there. They should be respected like the other frontline workers. But today, Carolyn Mulrooney's putting out fluff about how she respects the transit worker. Well, she respects the transit worker. What about our guys?
Okay.
What about the gravel guys?
Exactly. So is there a I'm ਦਰਸ਼ਕੋ ਮੈਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗਾ ਨਾ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਕੀ ਇਹ ਟਰੱਕਿੰਗ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਘੱਟ ਵਧੀਆ ਸਮਝਿਆ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਹਰ ਵਕਤ ਟਰੱਕ ਡਰਾਈਵਰ ਕੀ ਅਸੀਂ so you see what I'm trying to say, Alex? Is there an image problem for truckers that they are probably the most essential and the most important for everything right now, but yet they get pushed to that corner where they get no respect.
That's right.
And the rates are ridiculous. And like you mentioned yourself, if the pits are going to go further out past Aurelia, so how does the trucking that guy from the gravel or asphalt industry, how does he survive then? What the future ki hai? Like, you know, like how is this all going to come in? Like we can have a catastrophe on our hands.
That's right. We get questioned about our tactics, about, oh, you guys, all you're going to do, you're going to go out on strike. We're doing all this now, so we don't go out on strike. So the guys don't have to do that. Why should a man have to stand out on the side of the road to do this? It's ridiculous. Here's your choices. You're going to deal with what you see today, where people have individual relationships with their bosses. Some guys like to work for Dufferin more than others. They get to do all that.
Yeah.
Some guys like to work for this excavator better than this excavator. They have relationships. So you have what we have now, status quo. I'll tell you what, if you want it to be more organized, let's unionize it all and see what happens. See how you like that, province of Ontario, because the rates are going to go up 50%.
How much?
Okay? At least 50%.
At least 50?
At least.
So, okay.
But you know why? Because the union will be in the middle of it, taking some of the money out of the pie.
That's right.
Okay? So deal with the people that you have now. Nobody's disrespecting anybody. Deal with them.
So
You can't be questioned about how many times we've tried. You know, if the men go out on strike after this, nobody can say anything about what's gone on. What more would you like me to do? We have the largest agri producers asking for help. We have the largest developers asking for help. We have thousands of truckers asking for help. If you aren't even going to acknowledge that, there has been no correspondence from the minister. None.
is it just a provincial issue, or is it a municipal and a federal issue too?
No. This is a provincial issue here.
So the sole
Ontario was always had the highest weights by far.
by far, yes.
Okay, so we came up with all these different configurations about let's load up, we got pony pups going up and down the road. You got to remember something. It's okay to get them going. You got to get them to stop, right? We're way higher than anybody else. But here's the theory. If you reduce the gross weights, you're going to have more trucks. You're going to have more diesel. You know what I mean? You're caught between a rock and a hard place. So you got to deal with what you've got.
How is the, my last question, how is the difference between Ontario and the rest of the provinces of Ontario?
Well, we're just,
I mean, in Canada.
we're just so much busier. So much busier. You can compare when you just drive to Montreal. Take a look at the number of gravel trucks on the road in Montreal. It's nothing compared to here. It's nothing. We're moving millions and millions of meters of dirt. Okay, we're now into a big growth spurt with tunnel jobs coming up for our subways.
Yes.
There's so many hundreds of thousands of new Canadians coming to the province of Ontario. When you land in Canada, it's a greater proportion of people want to stay in this province and go to Saskatchewan, right?
Yes.
But it's confusing, and I find it disrespectful with what's happened so far. For the sake of having a meeting, we're not having a meeting now just to be told something.
Right.
Any correspondence that has happened in the last, they've been just talking at us. Don't talk at us, talk with us. Okay? And it's the reason it's me, it's like we talked about at the beginning of this.
Yes.
The rest of the people, we're all volunteers. They got livings to earn, right? A lot of the guys that came with me today,
Yes.
they drive trucks every day. They
That's
don't.
right.
They can't afford to stand out there and do this. So I do it on a volunteer basis because I love my industry, and I love the East Asian community. That's it for me.
Thank you. We love you too.
Okay.
You're my buddy, you know.
Okay.
ਅੱਛਾ ਦਰਸ਼ਕੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਚੰਗੇ ਦੋਸਤ ਐਲਕ ਕਲੌਕ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਦੇਖੀ ਆ। ਇਹ ਮੁੱਦਾ ਇਹ ਯੂਨਾਈਟਿਡ ਸੋਇਲਸ ਦੇ ਮਾਲਕ ਆ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡਾ ਪਿੱਟ ਆ ਇੱਥੇ, ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੁੱਦਾ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਭਖਮਾ ਮੁੱਦਾ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਹੋਪਫੁਲੀ ਇਹ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਐਲਕ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੇ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਇਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਜਾਰੀ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਆ, ਕਿਉਂ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮਤਲਬ ਇਸ ਜੰਗ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ। ਅਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਨੂੰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਫਿਰ ਟਰੱਕ ਵਾਲੇ ਵੀਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਡੰਪ ਜਾਂ ਗ੍ਰੈਵਲ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਟ੍ਰਾਈਕ ਕਰਨੀ ਪਵੇ। ਐਵੇਂ ਇਕੱਲਾ ontario ਦਾ ਮੁੱਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ। ਜੇ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੋਈ ਮੁੱਦਾ ਚੱਲਦਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਟੀਮ ਨੂੰ ਐਨੀ ਟਾਈਮ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰੀਚ ਆਊਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ। ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਮੁੱਦਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ, ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜਿਆ ਹੋਵੇ, ਤੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀ ਟੀਮ ਤਾਂ ਹਰ ਵਕਤ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਆ। ਸੋ ਅੰਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਐਲੈਕਸ, ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਅਗੇਨ।
Quite welcome.
ਤੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਕੋ, ਹੋਪਫੁਲੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੰਜੋਏ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਊਗਾ। ਅੰਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੱਡੇ ਦਾ ਸਤਿਕਾਰ, ਛੋਟੇ ਨਾਲ ਪਿਆਰ, ਤੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਿਆਰ ਭਰੀ ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।